It's time for the main event. It's the Tszyu Shot.
No, they want to see me doing bad, but I'm good.
¿Qué onda, vatos locos? Damas y caballeros, it's your boy Dave in the 702 coming back at you for that Monday boxing recap known as the Tszyu Shine. Joining me all the way from the city of brotherly love, Philly Irish Strevo. ¿Qué pasa, homie?
What's up, Dave?
Good to see you on a Monday night. Good to see everybody back. Obviously, it was an epic weekend for the sport of boxing as we had Undisputed again. We've gotten lucky this year, Drew, getting some Undisputed in the modern day four belt era. We got Undisputed again, and there was a lot of controversy regarding the decision, depending on maybe how you made your own personal wager, depending on how you felt going into the fight. Drew, I know you predicted Beterbiev, so if you had some money on it, congratulations.
I picked Bivol.
You picked Bivol?
Yeah, I picked Bivol to win.
Well, shit. Why did I think... Shout out to everybody joining us in the chat. Why did I think you were going to have Beterbiev? It was quite the surprise when the scorecards were read. Obviously, I'm here today. We're here today to see how people felt about it. There was some interesting stuff on the undercard. And of course, there's some really good boxing this weekend. I'm very excited about two Russians going toe-to-toe again. We just saw two of the greatest Russians in the sport of boxing today fight for Undisputed. We're going to see Tszyu of Australia, Russian dad, obviously the great fighter that his dad was, versus Martazeliov. Is that how I pronounce it correctly? Is it Bartazeliov, right? Bakram Martazeliov, the IBF champ that probably none of you have ever watched aside from maybe some YouTube reels, if you even care that much. But he has a title, Drew. And Tszyu, after losing his title in March right here in Las Vegas, boy, I heard some disappointing news. Shout out to everybody joining us. Speaking of Tszyu, the Hurricane, and Las Vegas, Drew, it was reported on social media, on Twitter, just hours ago, whatever you call it now, X, that tickets for the Tszyu fight are on sale for $1. $1 to see Saturday night's fight in Orlando at the Caribe something. $1. If that was not the most epic, I'm sorry. I know there's people that are closely. I got to meet Glenn, the manager of Tszyu. What a I mean, you do know you live in Florida that you're going to get hurricanes, but you never think it's going to interfere with a fight. I know ProBox had to reschedule. They got a fight. ProBox has a fight this Wednesday. Chris Colbert is on ProBox. He went from PBC to ProBox. And that fight was delayed. $1 to go see Tszyu when he nearly sold out the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas in March. And you're selling tickets for $1. If that wasn't an epic miscalculation financially, and by the way, Drew, he gets there. I know the fighters are entitled to part of that gate, right? Thankfully, I think if you've got an Amazon Prime account, which I think everybody in the world's got Amazon Prime, you can get to watch the fight for free, right? Am I right about that? Let me know, guys. Yeah, $1 Wile E. Coyote. And Sin City Syndicates, I think he's saying that might be $1 too expensive for this fight. Well, if you have Amazon Sin City Syndicate, which I'm pretty sure you do, you get to watch it for free. Yeah. What's this here? Wife, ex-wife, girlfriend, baby mama, and Mistress Appreciation Week, November 25th to December 1st. See you there. Okay, well, that's good. I got a wife. Absolutely. I'll see you here. I'll be here. Shout out to Nerd. He said, they got to pay me to see those two scrubs. Are they really that bad? I love watching Tszyu fight. And certainly the Russian fighter he's fighting is no bum, but quite honestly, there's just not enough for me to ascertain whether or not he stands a chance against him. Drew, have you watched any tape on him?
No.
He won his championship in Germany. If I'm correct, he won that title in Germany. Let's just get a quick box rec over here. And he beat Jack Colquet for that title. Jack Colquet was 33-4, and it looks like the fight was in what is Falcon Sea? Stadthal Falcon Sea. I don't even know if that's German. It looks like the German flag. Nonetheless, Tszyu finds himself back in position. He didn't fuck with Turkey Al-Sheikh and all the drama that happened in Las Vegas when Turkey was like, hey, I had a fight for you with who did he want him to fight? He wanted Virgil to fight. That fell out of order. And then he wanted to make him fight Terrence Crawford. And he's like, man, I'm doing my own thing. No disrespect, Turkey. I'm doing my own thing. Like us, we're doing our own thing. Fight tickets are $1 and parking is $50. Yeah, sounds like the Dodgers stadium parking situation. $50 to park, $100 if you got a truck. Shout out to everybody that has been watching playoff baseball. Congratulations if your team is in it. I got no skin in the game. But let's talk about this weekend, Drew. From the undercard, from broken jaws with temples that looked like the dude had a hole in his temple, to Ben Whitaker, who I thought was the next big thing, getting exposed and they're calling him Ben Whitaker. Did you see this? The guy, shout out to the guy named Cameron. The guy he was fighting, Cameron. Some very interesting things about that guy. Liam Cameron was the middleweight UK type champ, some kind of like UK title. He had a 4-year layoff. He was suspended for cocaine for 4 years. How do you get a 4-year suspension for cocaine? And Ryan Garcia gets less than a year for PEDs. I don't get it. But anyways, guy moves up all the way to 175. Lyndon Arthur, is that correct? You heard of that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah. He fought that guy to a draw. And if I believe correctly, Lyndon Arthur, he has a huge win over another light heavyweight. So the guy,
Anthony Yard.
Yeah, Anthony Yard. So it's not like it should come to any surprise that this was finally Ben Whitaker, the showboat king of the UK, silver medalist too, 2020 Olympic silver medalist, finally gets exposed. Finally, somebody he can't showboat against, and things started to get rough, Drew. So I'm curious what you think. Let me bring up some of these pictures. All right, Ben Whitaker's on the floor. He didn't know what to fake. Did he break his neck? At first, when I saw him go through the ring, because he ended up on the other side of the ring. You guys saw that. It was another one of these like suplex out the fucking ring type deal. Instead of grabbing his neck, which is what I thought was injured, he said that he busted his foot. But he was seen in the dressing rooms punching through the wall. And reportedly today, I think the Sun in the UK magazine said that he snatched the kid's phone out of his hand for taking a picture of him and smashed the kid's phone in Saudi Arabia over a photo op.
Wow.
One guy on social media on Twitter said, I've never seen a guy fuck up his career in one fight so bad. Ben Whitaker. Ben Whitaker. So what do we make out of this? Was he a hype job? Was Ben Whitaker a hype job? Was he showboating on just journeymen? Club fighters, UK level club fighters. He won the silver medal, but he finally looked like he was getting his ass whooped and found a way out of the fight. Is that what happened?
I wouldn't say trying to find a way out the fight, because that was a freak accident during the fight. Like, that thing wasn't planned and anything. It was, it was an accident. And he said he was injured. He was injured. I guess what are you going to do? Question him? Say he was hurt or something? That he's not hurt and anything? Like, unpredictable event happened. So
I've seen these. Yeah, I've seen these type of things. Oh, man, I can't think of this Puerto Rican guy. He used to fight at 154. He was a pretty good New York fighter. And I remember him flying out the ring like that too. Somebody had been getting the best of him. He got thrown out the ring and there was the fight. Kind of reminded me of that situation. If anybody remembers this Puerto Rican New York fighter who fought some big names too, put it in the chat. But man,
it ain't Kermit Cintron.
I'm thinking of Kermit Cintron. Yeah, there was a fight where Kermit Cintron, at the end of his career, he fought and he started getting his ass whooped, and he was thrown out the ring, and he's like, "No, I can't fight no more." Nonetheless, he's wheeled out of here in a wheelchair. He's claiming that he has an ankle injury, and now people are coming forward demanding to see injury reports to see, if he falsified that. They had tape of his foot. I guess they caught him at the airport, Drew. It looked like he had packaging tape from like U-Haul or some shit around his foot. It looked so fugazi. It looked so fake. I don't know, man. Should I take back all the high praises I had given Ben Whitaker as a future star in the light heavyweight division? Or
I don't know.
All right, guys. Well, they had it, Drew. They had it 3-3, a draw. A lot of people had the main event, a draw. They had it 3-3 after 6 rounds or whatnot, a technical draw. I think that was pretty much correct right there. Although at first glance, I thought, man, should this other guy have been disqualified? It looked like it was intentional to that he threw him out the ring or whatnot, but I guess not. Well, I'd like to see this rematch as soon as possible. Cintron versus Paul Williams. Yeah, Cintron definitely fought some big names, but I don't remember the fight where he flew out of the ring. I do remember it was at the later stages of his career because he did fight a long time, Kermit Cintron. He was a good fighter, but he fought way beyond his years. By the way, guys, I had a great weekend. Thank you to everybody that wished me a great weekend. This week, it's Drew's turn. So if you do feel so inclined, I've mentioned that this channel is almost fully monetized. We're not yet. They still say that my watch hours haven't met the criteria. So if you do feel inclined to send Drew a birthday gift, his cash thingy is up there. Supposedly you can't say that word, Drew. You can't say that word of what this is because apparently I was told on a different channel that it violates YouTube term of contract or term of services now. So there it is up there right here. Right here's Drew. If you want to send Drew a little gift, you can send him some love right there. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, that's what I heard. Supposedly that
Thingy.
You can't say that word.
Gotta say thingy. Thingy.
So Drew, there was Scott Nicholson fought. That fight wasn't even worth mentioning. She now calls herself the future undisputed. That's what's on her shorts. That's what she made the announcer. Is that too pompous for Sky Nicholson? I mean, she seems like a really nice girl, everybody seems, but I mean, is that too conceited? Future undisputed?
I don't know. She's hot, but she is conceited.
That's kind of full of, I mean, she can't even get Amanda Serrano to entertain a fight with her. How do you call yourself future undisputed? But yeah, I mean, she did all right. Not even really worth talking about. I wish her the best of luck going forward. She definitely is getting her name out there as a women's fighter. Now, this fight, Tszyu Beterbiev fought. That's also not even really worth talking about because we talked about how whack the cruiserweight division is with the exception of him. But this heavyweight rematch, guys, oh my God, the first one was amazing. I didn't even know about the first one. I caught this fight on replay. I'm talking about Wardley versus Clark, 2 UK fighters. They're actually really, really good fighters. I'm not even sure, I'm thinking Wardley might be a guy who might break out of this pack and emerge as somebody that might be a top 5 type guy. Maybe somebody that we might one day see in the ring with who, Drew? Do you see him getting to the very top of the heavyweight division, potentially getting a title shot against the brand new UK heavyweight champion?
I don't know. We gotta see when he moves up. So
But he's now shared the ring 13 rounds, and the guy Wardley, guys. If you guys didn't see this, let me just show you what happened. Round 1, the most brutal finish to round 1. Reportedly, Clark had his jaw wired shut. He had to fly home. And it looked like he had an indentation on the side of his temple as well. He got mad effed up, but he had the nicest things to say about his opponent, that it was an honor to share 13 of the most brutal rounds of his life. Nobody's ever hit me that hard. He now has to deal with this broken jaw that might take a whole full year to recover. And Wardley hits like a mule, dude. That guy's, I think he's got a really high ceiling that we didn't really think about for a UK heavyweight. Busted the dude's jaw in round 1. Oof. By the way, speaking of knockouts, Drew, there's a guy going around the internet And I'm surprised, man. Speaking of Twitter and social media, guys, you know, football fans can get crazy. I saw some videos of the Raiders game with Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers fans were here, Drew, from Pennsylvania. They all came to the Raiders Stadium. I think there was more fans of the Steelers in Vegas this weekend than there were actual Raiders fans. I seen some fights between women and men, but nothing like the shit I seen today on social media. I'm talking about this guy who is a Baltimore Ravens fan. He looks like he's 6'3". Turns out he was a former college lacrosse player. Well, he's so pissed off about the Ravens situation with the Commanders that he goes looking for Commanders. I guess he was looking for Commanders fans to assault, and he finds these two little guys in front of the bar area, and he just knocks out cold a couple of guys that look like they were 5'5". Well, not only did they find out where he works, his college, everything about him, they dug up so much shit that there's women coming forward saying he used to go around the dorm rooms trying to rape girls. And this guy had a high executive position in an insurance company, and he's just knocking. Thank you, internet, for doing the right thing and ruining this guy's life, who absolutely deserved to have his life ruined. Shame on you, Baltimore Ravens fan, whoever that guy was. Yeah, that dude was a creep. That guy was a straight creep, man, whoever that guy was. This brings us to the main event. I can't believe you did not have Beterbiev winning this fight. I'm on the roundtable with Joe Habib and D-Style this past weekend. Michael Montero, shout out to him. He's a Boxing Writers of America writer. Drew, it was almost split. It was like there were 6 of us on the panel, and I think it was 4-2, but it almost went 3-3, evenly split. Who was going to win this fight? Beterbiev versus Bivol. And I think one judge pretty much got it right when he said draw. I posted my immediate reaction on Twitter. I said it could have been. I'm all right with a draw, but it really should have been Bivol 7-5. That's my initial reaction, and I stand by that. I don't see how Beterbiev, watching it even the second time, won 7 out of 5 rounds. I don't see him winning 7-5. I think he could have got a draw. 8-4, I think, is unanimous why people started using the robbery word again. So what are your thoughts on overly using the word robbery? Obviously, if I thought it was a draw and one judge had it a draw, one judge had it 7-5 Beterbiev, but 8-4 is some fucking bullshit. That guy is blind.
I scored it 116-112 Dmitry Bivol.
Aha!
like I didn't think it was a robbery. I thought the fight was really hard to score, to be honest.
It was hard to score. It was
really hard to score for me. But I had it 116-112 Bivol, and I had it 5 and 6. My rounds I gave Beterbiev were 5 and 6 and 11 and 12.
Okay, so I'm just going to put up the CompuBox really quick. I found the fight very easy to score up front at the beginning. I thought Bivol, and you can see the CompuBox numbers, 14 punches to 4 landed in the first round, 12 to 6 in the second, 12 to 13 Bivol. Bivol, actually, that round 3 is questionable. And I did see that one judge that scored it 8-4 in favor of Beterbiev gave Beterbiev round 4. That's also a very close round statistically. 10 punches landed for Beterbiev and Bivol 11. So there you get to start to see why people are like, oh, there's some swing rounds. It's very difficult to score. It's very clear that Bivol faded in the later part of the fight. Some good comparisons made to when Oscar De La Hoya fought Felix Trinidad, where he just faded, or he appeared to take his. In Bivol's case, I think he faded, but in Oscar De La Hoya's case, I think he took his foot off the gas in the last few rounds. I think Bivol did get hurt maybe in the later part of the championship rounds, and he wasn't looking to trade any heavy leather, man. That's basically what it was. Beterbiev came on strong. He came on strong on those last ones. Let's get the scorecard here real quick. Obviously, Powell Cardini is the the judge that was gave the most ludicrous scorecard at 8-4 in favor of Beterbiev here. But Drew, you see the championship rounds where Glenn Fellman, an American judge who's very well respected, been in the business a long time, he did not give the last round to Bivol. Neither did Powell Cardini. And I have to ask you, what are your last 3 rounds looking like on your scorecard?
Well, I gave Beterbiev the last 2 rounds of the fight.
Not number 10?
Nah, I didn't give him round 10. Like, I only gave him 4 rounds. I gave him 5 and 6. I fought 5, which he was outlanded like 11-7, but I thought he landed the more meaningful, harder punches and everything. And like 6, it was more of another round that I gave Beterbiev was more clearly his round, and I gave him 10. I gave him 11 and 12. Other than that, I got Dmitry Bivol winning the first 4 rounds, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and 12 were Beterbiev rounds. But like, it was a hard fight to score. Like, I'll be honest, I had an 8-4 Bivol, but I watched it a couple more times, and I went draw the second time, and then third time I went 8-4 Dmitry Bivol again.
Interesting, Drew. Glenn Feldman had round 10 in favor of Arthur Beterbiev, right?
Yeah.
So had he had changed that round in favor of Bivol, which I think he won round 10, then we would have had a majority draw. Then we would have had 2 people. Then this thing would have been pretty fair at a majority draw. It seemed unlikely these 3 judges were going to come to the consensus that Dmitry Bivol was going to win, period. But if that judge had decided that round 10 was in favor of Dmitry Bivol, we would have had a majority draw, which I would have been fine with. I mean, like, damn, that was a really good fight, technical fight, 2 of the best Russian fighters in the world.
Yeah, but here's the thing that separated that fight for me. When you got a guy throwing combinations and landing combinations, and a guy throwing 1 punch at a time for most of the fight, which was Beterbiev, who are you going to give it to? The guy that has a more consistent offensive output, or a guy that's throwing 1 punch and landing, and a guy's landing 2 to 3 punches at a time?
What about the argument, these Beterbiev, I'm only calling it a Beterbiev fanboy, but listen, the people that are arguing Beterbiev did win are saying even the pitter-patter looking punches, even the punches where it looks like he's just tapping Bivol. Look at Bivol's eye, and there was serious damage to the eye from his glove. He did admit the glove was still touching his face. Does Beterbiev get too much credit for being known as the hardest hitting puncher in the sport of boxing? He's just tapping them, but according to people that fight him, they said those taps are actually very strong and they cause some damage. Is that why they gave him all that credit?
I don't know. Like a lot of his punches didn't really land cleanly. So, it hit his glove, his arm, and everything. So I can't call it a landed punch, but, it probably did some damage later on in the fight because, he's probably rallying on him and trying to open him up, but nah, I can't see it like that. But then, like, after this fight, I'm hearing this one dude, I guess he's like Ring Magazine or somebody, this young guy, saying Benavidez stops Beterbiev. No, the fuck he doesn't. Benavidez is easy work for. Let me just say something right now. Dmitry Bivol and Arthur Beterbiev will make easy work of David Benavidez, and I think that guy needs to shut up. should stop making videos while he's walking. I was hoping the whole time that guy would just trip over something while he's talking in the camera, so I can laugh at my ass off at him and everything. Because, like, how can you say David Benavidez stops him when he gassed out in his light heavyweight debut and actually had a lot of trouble with Alexander Grozdik? Yeah,
I think he got a lot of feedback. A lot of the person you're referencing, I believe, is it Sean Kettle?
Yeah. What the fuck his name is? I don't even give a fuck what his name is, but
I think Sean Kettle is on the Porter podcast. He's also a member of the Boxing Hall of Fame. No, Boxing Association, right? Is it Sean Kettle, guys? Who is it? I know you're talking about. It's Sean. He's from Las Vegas. But, Drew, let me just tell you how good he's got it. He is a Raiders reporter. He's also gets the vote for the Hall of Fame. He's also on Sean Porter's podcast. He also grew his YouTube channel exponentially because he's a journalist. Does that mean you got to agree with him? No, I think that was a lot of bullshit for real. Like, I don't think a lot of people unanimously agree that David Benavidez stops. And sometimes that's just a wild take. I mean, a guy's got it good. I'm going to have to be honest with you, Drew. When I see him in Vegas and the way people treat him, I'm like, come on. Give Shoeshine some fucking credentials like, already.
Dave,
and let me work the mic. No, I'm just kidding.
Dave, you know me, Dave. I'll be honest. I don't watch other than doing this and maybe 2 other shows. I don't really watch any boxing content.
Which is why I appreciate everybody joining us. Shout out to Sonteo Media just joining us. Shout out to my homegrown mom, Food Planting Things, who has her own YouTube channel. I always say that. I love watching her channel. On the subject of Sonteo, Drew, Nakatani fought in Japan this morning, right? Or last morning, because the time, so he knocked the shit out of that dude. And obviously Nakatani trains in California. And there's big conversation. They want to pull him up to fight Inoue. But Bam, everybody knows the best fight at 118 is Bam moving up to 118. And I saw Sonteo in here. I saw your comment on Twitter earlier about Robert Garcia being very close to Nakatani's trainer. Could that potentially get in the way of that super fight happening? Do I think it's a right move for Nakatani to move up to fight Inoue right now? No, not really. I would love to see him fight Bam. I'd like to see Bam challenge himself. It's a tough task, but I'd like to see that fight get made, Drew. Canelo Alvarez was in Japan. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Rumor is he's there potentially. Not only was he there to support a fellow countryman who was fighting in Japan this weekend. By the way, speaking of Inoue's brother lost his title, right? Yeah. Whoa, big upset, right? Canelo was there in support. He had one of, I believe, Eddie Reynoso's fighters on there, and supposedly he's potentially negotiating maybe an end-of-year Japanese performance against an undecided fighter. I mean, I'm interested. I'm interested why we didn't hear so much about Canelo's opinion on this light heavyweight undisputed unification matchup. I'm wondering, does he want to fight Beterbiev? I thought he really wanted to fight the winner of this fight, but I haven't seen anything publicly. Have you?
No, I think it's a mistake for Canelo. I think he loses to offer Beterbiev. So I just don't think it
Well, a lot Canelo does have fanboys, Drew, and a lot of them came out right away and said, "Hey, they think he got a chance against the 40-year-old Beterbiev." And I'm gonna be honest with you, this is prime Canelo tactics to age out a fighter. I would take that on too. I would raise my hand straight up if I was Canelo and say, I'll fight Beterbiev. He doesn't throw that much volume.
Yeah, but the thing about Beterbiev is the pressure and everything. He can just freeze you like that. And like if Bivol was able to freeze Canelo like that at times, imagine what he can do.
Yeah, Nerd says, why is it a good move for Bam to move up when he wants to be undisputed at 115? You know, I would say becoming undisputed in any weight class is not only it's a legacy move. It's absolutely a legacy move. I embrace that, but at the same time, he's not going to increase his stardom by fighting those. I just don't see it. I just think that if he fought Nakatani, his stardom would increase even more so. And you didn't see like a fighter like Manny Pacquiao stick around too many weight classes saying, I'm going to clean this one out first. Manny Pacquiao, his stardom as a small fighter happened because he made a lot of challenges to himself, jumping up in weight classes, trying to pick off a bigger name and whatnot. And I think that Bam, as small as Bam is, I think he could potentially go as high as featherweight someday, maybe 130 later in his life. And why not? Why not start taking on these big names? He's already has. He's done two. He's knocked off two former champions at heavier weight classes when he jumped from 112 to 115. Why not go for greatness and go from 115 to 118? But typically, Nerd, I would say fuck that. Just become undisputed in your weight class. But I don't know. I think Bam is special. If he's special, he can take greater risks. So going back to this main event, Drew, Beterbiev now has it. Turkey Ali Sheik was seen mumbling some shit. to Bivol. I think he said, I think you want it. Does he get this rematch made? They had no rematch clause, which I think is a good move because it leaves the door open for other fights.
Yeah, it does. But I think we're going to wind up seeing a rematch. I think we're going to wind up seeing a rematch. It's. I just don't see, they're going to look at it as yo, this fight needs a rematch.
Yeah, no, 100% needs a rematch. And in fact, I'm in favor of it happening immediately, as soon as possible, because you've got David Morrell. We talked about it last week. This is great news, guys. David Morrell and David Benavidez will be fighting, it appears, in Las Vegas, right, in January. I got a lot of friends that watch this show on replay that have already contacted me that are like, yo, are you going to get, of course we're going to go see that fight. Of course we're going to go see that fight. Of course we're going to be there for everything fight week. We have to. David Benavidez versus David Morrell is the greatest fight at 168 that never happened, and now it's happening at light heavyweight. And either of these two guys are in prime position to fight Dimitri Bivol or Beterbiev. But you got some people already jumping the gun saying David Benavidez knocks out Beterbiev. David Benavidez was talking in an interview with, I think, Ellie Sekback, saying, you saw how I lit up Bivol in sparring. I never seen the tape. He thinks he could beat Bivol, and you've got people saying now that he can knock out Beterbiev. Slow down. He's got a tough task in front of him coming up this January in David Morrell. Did you pick somebody in that fight yet, Drew?
Yeah, I picked Morrell by stoppage.
Morrell by stoppage? That's crazy. Well, we've seen David Benavidez walk into a shot and taste the canvas. We've seen him down. We've seen David Benavidez get hit with the counter he walked into. It can happen. It can happen. But I think a lot of people thought Beterbiev was going to be able to really seriously hurt Bivol, and it didn't happen, Drew. Although there was some scares in the later championship rounds, it looked like Bivol was like, I'm done taking punishment, guys. Did anybody here think that Dimitri Bivol in the later rounds was hurt or was at fear of being hurt? I'm going to read Sin City Syndicate's comment. He says, Benavidez gets KO'd by Bivol or Beterbiev. Nerd says Benavidez beats Morrell unanimous decision. I think this one will go to the scorecard. And Nerd, I'm excited to see how well famed strength and conditioning coach Memo Heredia is going to do again, because when Memo Heredia trained David Benavidez, I believe last year, not in his last fight, not in his debut at 175, but prior to that, he had David Benavidez shredded, like with a six-pack. His physical conditioning was top-notch, and he hired him again, so it's going to absolutely have an impact, I think, in the exact positive way that he needs. He kind of looked a little bit, soft around the midsection at 175, which indicates he didn't gain all that weight in muscle, which is why he was a little bit soft around the midsection. I expect him, with the help of Memo Heredia, to come in vicious. Santel Media says, wow, Morrell by stoppage. I like it, Drew. And I don't know, David Morrell is close to some Las Vegas coaches like San Jose's Bob Santos. I'm sure they're going to have him in tip-top shape too. And honestly, whoever wins that fight should get an opportunity being interim champions. Both of them being interim champions should be first in line to fight. They really should. So I think Drew made it very clear, guys. He thought Bivol won 8-4. I thought that Bivol should have got the nod 7 rounds to 5, but there was some swing rounds that I still think are debatable. Looking at that CompuBox card, you could see how close some of these rounds were. Round 3 and 4, 13-12 punches, 10-11 punches, moving it over here. The 12th round, which I really felt Bivol needed to carry the 12th round, was 15-14 in favor of Dimitri Bivol of Beterbiev, which is why so many of the judges gave it to him. Being the effective aggressor. What's good, Rhonda? Good to see you. Good to see everybody in the chat. Well, Drew walked away, guys, so it's just me right now. But while we're on the subject still, if you're watching Dimitri Bivol versus Beterbiev, a lot of controversy. People started screaming robbery. I know we have become, as boxing fans, very common to use the term robbery. But in a close fight, it's kind of hard to use the word robbery when even me, said it could have been potentially a draw. You can't call it a robbery. Robbery really, if somebody had won, clearly 8 rounds to 4, 9 rounds to 3, 10 rounds, a clean sweep, and they still give it to the other guy. Yeah, that's a blatant robbery right there. Maybe it's just used too freely in the sport of boxing. So, Beterbiev is a pressure fighter, much like the great Mexican fighters. He walks you down. He can cut off the ring fantastic. He continued to cut off the rings in rounds 10, 11, and 12 against Dimitri Bivol. Do they favor in Saudi Arabia that too much? Is that favor too much? Usually, you know, like when I'm watching Mexican fighters, I'm like, yeah, Mexican style. And we seem to favor what they call effective aggression, you know, walking down the opponent, having your opponent on the back foot, boxing off the back foot. Do we give too much credit for that? In this fight particularly, you know, not one judge had it for Dimitri Bivol, who I thought boxed absolutely beautiful in the first half of that fight, and still managed to light up Beterbiev with combinations here and there, you know, winning, I think, the majority of the rounds. He's maybe 7 out of 5. But they didn't feel that way. In particular, that one random judge, Powell, that most of us are unfamiliar with. So let me know if you guys don't put it in the chat now. Drop it in the comments section. You know, what you guys think. Do they favor effective aggression too much? While Ronda is here, this is off topic while I wait for Drew. Guys, you guys know that I've been doing food vlogs, like vlogging around Las Vegas, just practicing my cinematography skills, practicing my camera skills. And somebody left me a comment today. I think his name was Eric Moreno. So shout out to Eric Moreno. My biggest hater of the week, Eric Moreno. I know you're not watching the Shoe Shine because you probably don't watch manly sports like this, but you were watching my food review. And Eric Moreno says, just another fake food critic praising a gringo Hollywood celebrity, kissing ass, blah, blah, blah. Shout out to Eric Moreno, my biggest hater of the week, with your black ass comment. Drew, got some hate on my page today.
Fuck him.
Eric Moreno. All right. Yeah, I doubt he watches the Shoe Shine. Like I said, I mean, he probably doesn't watch anything manly like this, right? Like boxing or MMA.
I'll say it again. Fuck him.
Yeah, well, you know, if you don't have haters, then I never have haters. So, you know, if you don't have haters, I guess you're not doing something right. You're not doing if somebody doesn't talk shit, then you're not doing anything worthy to be even be discussed.
Yes, I'm doing a lot right.
Yeah, exactly. Drew's got his fair share of haters for real.
Yeah,
all right, Drew.
Go fuck themselves too. For I give a fuck.
There's a lot of boxing this week. In fact, I don't even know. I saw the pictures, the graphics. There's fights on Friday. There's obviously the biggest fight is this Saturday. Boxing kicks off this Wednesday night. Big week, Rhonda. While I have you in the chat, Rhonda, it's a big week. Sunday, I'll have to have a phone call with you because the Chiefs and the Niners are going toe-to-toe at 1 o'clock in Santa Clara, and the 49ers are favored by 1 point. Imagine that. The 49ers are favored to beat the Chiefs. I'll believe it when I see it, though. I'll believe it when I see it.
I don't think that's going to happen, Dave.
Saturday. We got to have faith. Saturday, Drew, Tszyu is fighting, but Wednesday, Chris Colbert, who once fought El Rayo Valenzuela, I love that kid, twice, picked off a win that I didn't think I think Rayo got robbed on one. I don't think he deserves those 2 losses.
Nah, I didn't think he got robbed. He kind of let that fight slip away.
So you think in that first one, Colbert did earn that win? Okay.
He edged it.
Very interesting. Okay, well, he's no longer on PBC, Drew. He's trying to make a comeback. Once a guy that was really flashy. I remember one night in particular, Chris Colbert fought. He was fighting on Showtime or PBC, and Shakur Stevenson was fighting at the exact same time. And Drew, you just yawned, but I mean, yeah, Shakur Stevenson was boring the shit out of me. He was making me fall asleep, and Chris Colbert was putting on a show. And I thought both of these guys they're fighting at 130 pounds. One guy is putting on a show, and Chris Colbert, he's got to be the next big thing at this division. And Shakur Stevenson was putting me to sleep on ESPN. Now Chris Colbert finds himself fighting on YouTube on Wednesday night. Does he have to win this fight, Drew, to stay relevant?
Yeah, he does. Like, he's on that thing now that he's in the crossroads of his career. So one bad loss is over for him.
Exactly. And like I mentioned, I feel terrible for all the hurricane survivors and everybody impacted by the hurricane in Florida. That fight was delayed, and it comes to fruition this Wednesday night here on Pro Box on YouTube. I'll be definitely tuned into that. I'll see you guys in the chat. Thursday, by the way, Drew's got a birthday this week. Just a quick reminder. I don't know where I'm going to talk to Drew about Tailgate Talk this week. But if you do want to give Drew a little love right there, that's his little thing right there. Cash Drew Evo 85. You can send him a little birthday love over there if you do feel so inclined. Let's talk about this fight on Saturday. 2 Russians, Drew. IBF world title at stake at the Caribe Resort Hotel in Orlando, the home of Disney World. What's going to happen this Saturday?
The home of the hurricane.
What is going to happen this weekend? Tszyu versus Murtazaliev, 2 Russians. Australian Russian. Does that still counts, right?
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, by the way, on this card, guys, there's a Mexican guy that is a sparring partner of Tszyu, Drew. He's the only Latino name on the card. I've seen him fight. He's a tough bastard. He don't look Mexican. I know. He looks like Canelo because, you have to. You heard that before. Oh, you don't look Mexican. He's Mexican, but he's from Australia. Does that make any sense? He's Mexican, but instead of his family crossing into the U.S., his family somehow went to Australia, which, I mean, doesn't make that don't make no sense to me, but they did. So he got into Australia as a little boy. So he's Mexican, but Australian. He has an Australian accent. I don't even know if he speaks Spanish, but he's Mexican. He's on the undercard. He's Tszyu's sparring partner, and I'm looking forward to watching him fight again. I don't even have his name. I forget his name, but he's on the card. Very interesting guy. What happens, Drew, if that guy blows up to the level of Tszyu? Does he rock Mexican flag sombrero and then the Australian shorts on the other side?
I don't know. I think get ahead of yourself, Dave.
Dude, we live in a mixed up world. I'm just saying. What if he becomes a contender, and he next thing you know they're talking about, well, he's Mexican but he's Australian, but
I think the best fight on the card is the Hurricane.
Thank you, Mom Food. The best thing on the card is give me your famous pick, Drew. Okay, right now, Tszyu has an opportunity to become the champion again. He's got to beat a flat-footed but heavy puncher. We had Bohacek on the same Tszyu fight card in March. Just absolutely shocked the world, beating the crap out of Brian Mendoza.
Got robbed against Virgil Ortiz.
Now, these are all, Bohacek is Ukrainian. Excuse me. They're not the same. Ukrainians and Russians are not the same. But you've got all these Eastern European fighters that are top-notch, including Madrimov. You've got all these Eastern European fighters that are stars at 154, that are really, really gifted athletes in the 154-pound division. Now, he's got it. Like I said, Tszyu's a Russian. His dad's Russian, but he's Australian. He's got to beat this guy to retain a title again, and that puts him in perfect position to call the shots. Does he walk away with this win?
He's going to win, Tszyu. This is like, the gimme fight.
Yeah, he's very flat-footed. I don't think he's nearly as good as Bohacek. I don't think he's as good as Virgil Ortiz, which he didn't fight, but Fundora is a special animal. I think it's all but certain that Tszyu will win this title on Saturday. And then, wow. I did read some statements today, guys. If you guys are wondering what's going on with the Fundora Spence fight, Fundora not fighting Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford went to the WBO. They gave him an extra 10 days to negotiate between him and the Towering Inferno. They gave him 30 days. He was busy. I think it was his birthday month. They said, we'll give you another 10 days. And he said, look, me and Fundora's camp, we've come to an agreement. I said they could go fight somebody else. Terrence Crawford's not ready to fight Fundora, doesn't want to fight Fundora, doesn't think that's the right fight for him. Whatever it is, he said the dude could go fight whoever he wants. The WBO, I read the statement today. It was posted on social media for everyone that you can go read the PDF document. Says he can do a voluntary defense with the intent that he has to fight Terrence Crawford immediately next.
But he can't fight Spence.
Then it went on to say it must be a WBO ranked top 15 opponent, or you sacrifice your title. Last I checked, last week, Spence was not listed as a top 15 contender in the 154-pound division. Does that mean they're going to enforce it? Are they going to strip him? Because it's all but certain Spence is going to fight Fundora. Do they strip him of that WBO title? And then what?
I want to fight Spence now.
Man, I do know one thing, guys. If Tszyu wins this belt this weekend, and you got Fundora being, and his management team being iffy about stepping into the ring with Terrence Bud Crawford, I'm telling you, Tszyu is not going to back away from this fight. Will Terrence Crawford take that fight? I don't know. It looks like Terrence Crawford only has one thing on his mind, and that's a $10 million+ payday against Canelo Alvarez, right? I mean, that's kind of what it seems like, right?
But she's not getting.
Do the Japanese want to pay that Saudi money? Do the Japanese want to pay Canelo Alvarez to fight Terrence Crawford in December?
No.
No? Speaking of fight, I said there's a lot of fights this weekend, guys. The IBF, which is, I believe, the same title they're going for. Is this Tszyu going for the IBF title?
Yeah.
Yeah. They stripped Canelo. They stripped Canelo Alvarez of he's no longer undisputed, guys. That fight is going to happen this weekend between William Skull and some other guy. I barely even know anything about William Skull, but William Skull is going to fight for that vacant IBF title. Somebody is going to emerge this weekend as the new 168-pound IBF champion. And if I'm Canelo Alvarez, there's my TV. If I'm Canelo Alvarez, I'm fighting for my belt back. Let me have William Skull in December in Japan. He wins his title. Let's make arrangements for a fight in Japan. So I can get so I can get my title back from William Skull. That's what I'm feeling. We got somebody new in the chat. Leoric 2000, shout out to you. He says, Tim is not Russian. He was born in Australia, grew up and still lives in Australia. His father is Russian and immigrated to Australia before Tim was born. So Tim is not Russian in any way. Yeah, I mean, most of that is true, Leoric. I do believe he's tried to learn the Russian language. And does that... Yeah, but it's very easy for people to get offended with how people identify. And me as a Mexican American, I have a lot of cousins that are half Mexican. And if I were to tell any of my half Mexican cousins that they're not Mexican because their mom is white, they'd be fucking pissed off at me. You know what I mean? I can't tell my half Mexican cousins you're not Mexican because your mom and dad ain't Mexican. Only one of them is. I'm still Drew, I still identify as Mexican American, but I still identify as a Mexican. But I'm born in the U.S. I'm born in the U.S. Speak perfect English.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
His dad is Russian.
Yes.
So that makes Tszyu Russian Australian.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm an Irish American.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I can't fault people for how they want to identify, especially around the world. Like I said, there's a really interesting guy on the fight this Saturday. This Saturday, there's a Mexican guy.
This conversation
because somebody put a comment in the chat. Wile E. Coyote. Somebody said in my comment section today on my food vlog that I was sucking up to gringo Hollywood celebrities today, that I was sucking up to them because I liked, dude, I didn't even like all the food at the place. I liked one of my dishes. Watch the video again.
So what's your point? No, not you, Dave. I'm talking about
Russian descent, not Russian.
But here's the thing. Russian descent is Russian. What the I don't like.
Drew. Hey, Leoric, welcome to the chat.
Welcome to the channel, dude. I would not to know what the fuck made you come up with and talk about this on all things, man.
Let's just agree to disagree. We'll just agree to disagree. Because like I said,
man, what the fuck?
Drew, I was saying earlier, I'm like, what's going to happen if Tszyu's sparring partner, who's Mexican because his parents are Mexican, but he's raised in Australia, and I believe he's an Australian citizen now. What happens if he gets to the point where he's ready to fight for world titles? He's going to be, rocking Mexican and Australian shorts all at once, which is, new to me. It's new to me, but, across the world, the whole world is mixed up. So, man, I'm Dave in the 702. I appreciate everybody joining us on this Monday night Shoeshine live stream boxing recap, man. Beterbiev, Bivol, Drew. Somebody emerged as the undisputed, and it wasn't the guy I thought it was going to be. It was Beterbiev.
Australian and a U.S. citizen. Dude, you just proved my point was right, bro. Good job.
Obi-Wan. Nerd says Tszyu is just living off his last name. Dude ain't no real one. Shout out to Miguelito, aka Magic Mike, certified male stripper in the chat. Drew, Magic Mike, right there, certified male stripper.
I'm fucking done tonight with these fucking people in this chat. You got fucking.
We're just having a good time. We're just having a good time. Real quick.
I got another guy talking about what the fuck is he and everything. And I got a fucking male stripper that fucking guy. Damn it, what the fuck?
Boy, he's Rhonda's friend. Rhonda knows all the male strippers. Who won the game? Who won Monday Night Football?
You guys should just fucking pay me for putting up with your fucking bullshit tonight.
Wait a minute. God. Who won the game? Monday Night Football. Bills?
I have no clue. I haven't been watching. Like if I gotta fucking watch a game, I gotta fucking put the sound on, and I'm not trying to. The Bills won.
Damn, that was a close game, 23-20.
Here's the thing. So they're telling me the Bills only scored 3 second half points.
Man, the Jets kept it pretty close, and that's Jets under a brand new head coach, an emergency head coach, right? Fired Salah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, Drew, hopefully we'll get together this week. You guys keep locked. Make sure you have your notifications on. We'll get back with tailgate talk later this week. Drew, you let me know what time. And Boxing Tonic says, who cares? Talk about boxing. Boxing Tonic, welcome to the channel. We're just wrapping it up. Feel free to go back to the very beginning. We do cover football on this channel as well, and I appreciate you coming in here, and hopefully you'll come back on next Monday. Wednesday, you got Pro Box. You got Chris Colbert making him, he's in a do or die situation. Like you said, it's a crossroads fight for him. He's got to be relevant. But with all the guys coming off,
but he was on a Philly card too, and that fight got canceled.
With all the guys coming off successful wins from Pro Box and landing in title fights, like including Angelo Leal fighting on Pro Box and then getting a title opportunity and then winning on ESPN a title. You never know. Chris Colbert might find himself back into a real contender situation, world class. Who knows? We'll find out on Wednesday. We'll find out who the new IBF junior middleweight champion is going to be this Saturday night. And we'll be back on next Monday to talk about it. Remember, guys, it's Drew's birthday week. If you want to show him some love, you can send him a little love over there at that cashy thing over there. All right. That's all I got, Drew. Any final words?
Yeah, a lot of you motherfuckers in this chat got fucking issues.
We all got
you gotta work your fucking issues out, dudes. What the fuck?
I appreciate all you guys. We'll be back next Monday to cover the sport of boxing again. Until then, peace out, everybody.